Please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Please remain standing as I welcome the class secretary for the class of 2013, Mary Kozieski, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you, Mary. Good evening. My name is Charlie Caleri, and as principal of Chelmsford High School, it is my distinct pleasure to welcome you this evening to the commencement exercises for Chelmsford High School's graduating class of 2013. I will be serving as the MC for this evening's activities. Before we officially start the program, I feel it necessary to thank a few people. I'm not sure about all of you, but planning a party for 4,000 of your closest friends is certainly not something that could be done by only one person. Without the contributions of these folks in planning, setting up, and executing this event, we certainly wouldn't be able to be here tonight for such a joyous occasion. And special thanks to the weather for cooperating. First, the deans, Dean Blagg, Dean Doherty, and Dean Galante. You have been my right hand, my right arm, my right side all year, and I eternally am grateful and thankful for all of the support that you've given me. My office staff, Mrs. Bormeister, Mrs. Emanuel, and Mrs. Rick, and the house secretaries, Mrs. Rogers, Mrs. Beraldi, and Mrs. Duskowitz. Gary Persichetti, a man called Rabbit, and the entire maintenance department. Dave Chucciarello, Louis Giusetto, and the entire facilities department. Sergeant Beaudoin and the Chelmsford Police Department, Chief Curran and the Chelmsford Fire Department, Trinity Ambulance, Mrs. Nabalski, Mrs. Taylor, and the food service staff, Jim Young and the All Sports Boosters Club, Mr. Peterson and the crew of CHS TV, Mr. Russo, Mr. Rondina, Mr. Sexauer, Mr. Bartos, Mr. Atchison, Mr. Fall, Mr. Wright, Mrs. Boudreau, Mrs. O'Neill, Mrs. Lima, Miss Foisey, Mrs. Rodman, and Mr. Fanning. Mrs. Dulamis, Mrs. Gaffney, and the National Honor Society student volunteers. Mahoney's Flowers for these lovely stage decorations. And last, and certainly most important, to our terrific faculty at CHS. I've worked in 3 other high schools, and I have worked with some very strong educators. Unlike any other school I've been in, our staff takes the phrase in loco parentis to heart. As a parent would, they take a vested interest in the development and success of the students. In short, they care. They recognize that teaching is an art and a science, and that the easiest way to reach the students is by taking an interest and building a relationship with them. Thank you for all of your contributions. The contributions made by these folks, in addition to countless others, represent the essence of Chelmsford. It's been said that it takes a village to raise a child. With a village like Chelmsford, it's no wonder our children are as successful as they are. As you can see from the program, we have a number of special guests here this evening who have spent a great deal of time crafting thoughtful messages to help commemorate and celebrate this special occasion. First, I would like to welcome our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Frank Tiano.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to our graduates. This is my third graduation as superintendent, and once again, I am privileged to be part of the ceremony. I'm particularly pleased to be here with the class of 2013, as we share something in common. We both started our Chelmsford public school careers in elementary school in the year 2000. Although it seems like a lifetime ago, and for you, it just about was, time has moved quickly. Over the past 13 years, you have worked hard and dedicated yourself to advancing your own education. You have done what was expected of you and more. This is your time to celebrate and be proud of your accomplishment because you deserve that right. However, please remember that although this day is for you, the parents, faculty, and administrators who are with us today, and friends, family, and former teachers who are not here should be congratulated as well. As you are quite aware, your high school journey was not a solitary one. Though you have earned the celebration through perseverance and sacrifice, those attributes only thrived with the love and support you received at home and inside the walls of Chelmsford High School. I'm sure you realize as well, that support didn't start when you were a freshman. During the past 13 years, your parents and family were there to support you, teach you, protect you, guide you, and also hold you accountable. They were always there for you whether you realized it or not, or whether you wanted them there or not. They watched you learn and grow from your mistakes and celebrated with you your triumphs. From the brand new world of kindergarten to the challenges of adolescence to the senior prom, they have watched in amazement as you've matured into the fine group of young adults who now sit before us. They share a pride that only a parent can have. Your school family, the group of wonderful teachers, counselors, coaches, administrators, support staff, and everyone in the buildings of our schools were there the entire way as well. Always there for you, whether it was teaching you how to read, solve quadratic equations, compete on the field, express yourself on the stage, work cooperatively and appreciate differences in others, or to help you stretch you out of your own comfort zone and use skills that you never knew you had. And though they worked with you in short durations, each adult connected with next year's educators to provide you with a consistently safe environment where you could challenge yourself and grow. Even after you leave them, they continue to share and take pride in your educational progression. So graduates, please make sure over the next few days, as you revel in the gifts and adulation, take time to reflect on and appreciate the people who have been there for you throughout your entire school career. As you leave us today and continue the next leg of your journey, please remember the character traits that they helped ingrain in you here in Chelmsford. Perseverance, respect, integrity, dedication, and empathy. In other words, pride. Class of 2013, congratulations again. Go make us proud.
Thank you, Dr. Tiano. It's my pleasure to welcome to the stage the newly elected chairperson to the Chelmsford Public Schools School Committee, Mr. Michael Rigney.
Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2013, I'm honored to have this chance to address you here at your graduation celebration. Graduations are traditionally a time to look ahead, to talk about all the big things ahead of you. I'd like to take a moment, though, to reflect on some of what you've already done. You've completed all the tasks we've set before you, turned in all the tests, turned in all the homework. You've done Chelmsford proud, representing us across the Commonwealth and the country at debates, art shows, DECA competitions, and on the playing fields. You've put on theatrical productions that won both critical and popular acclaim. By the usual measures of high school, you've done very well. But you've done more than that for this town. You've raised over $100,000 for local charities with the 24-hour relay and the other drives that you've put on, big and small, that you organized, that you made successful. You've given thousands of hours of volunteer time to make this town a better place to live. You've run sports clinics and coached our youth leagues. You've completed Eagle Scout and Gold Star projects to strengthen our open spaces and our common places. You've marched in parades and staffed the booths on the Common at the 4th of July. You've led anti-bullying initiatives that were organized by students, and you've mentored underclassmen, teaching them what Chelmsford pride really means. You stood up to speak at town meeting, trying to leave this town a better place than you found it. You are Chelmsford. So on this day of celebration, on behalf of the Chelmsford School Committee and the entire town, I'd like to say to you, congratulations, and I hope that no matter where you go and what you do, you will always remember these 4 years and know that we sincerely appreciate what you have done for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rigney. I wanted to take a few minutes to recognize some special people who have decided to retire from the Chelmsford Public Schools after years of dedicated service. Please hold your applause until the end. Donna Bates, with 28 years of service to the Chelmsford Public Schools, 12 as a special educator and 16 as the high school special ed chairperson. Dr. Laura Craig Bray, 13 years with Chelmsford Public Schools at the Byam and Harrington schools, and also with us here at Chelmsford High School as a school psychologist. Bruce, Coach, Rich, 35 years as a physical education teacher at McCarthy Junior High and Chelmsford High School, and a 3-sport coach for football, wrestling, and softball. And Mr. Ralph Sherwood, for 43 years as a science teacher at the junior high and McCarthy schools, and as a chemistry teacher here at Chelmsford High School. Collectively, they have touched the lives of over 10,000 students in their 119 years of collective service to the students, families, and community members of Chelmsford. I am appreciative and eternally grateful for their commitment to Chelmsford High School and the insight and contributions that they have made to me personally and professionally. Quick side note, few people know that Mr. Sherwood was in fact my chemistry teacher, and he was a bit of an inspiration for me as I started my own teaching career as a chemistry teacher. Thank you, Mr. Sherwood. And Mr. Rich, well, he and I played against each other in an adult softball league. I think I may have struck him out a few times, and I think I hit a triple off of him as well. The details are a little bit fuzzy for me, but I'm sure Mr. Rich doesn't remember them either. But in all seriousness, thank you for all that you have done at CHS. Your contributions will continue to be felt in the lives that you have touched during your long and distinguished careers. I wanted to take a moment just to address everyone. In the program, there's a little line there for the principal's address. And so since I'm the MC, I've sprinkled some of my address all through this presentation, but I do have a few remarks that I wanted to share with the graduating class of 2013, my first graduating class. So it's kind of special for me. This is my second Chelmsford High School graduation, the one after my first back in 1990. And during that graduation ceremony, all I remember is getting my diploma and that it was a really hot day. I'm hoping that graduates, you will take one little piece from something that I'm sharing with you. Distinguished guests from the Selectman's office, from the school committee, from the town manager's office, faculty, friends, family, and graduating class of 2013. Although the term commencement refers to a beginning, in its strictest definition, it really only represents a beginning for you, the graduates. Your family, however, looks at it from a completely different perspective. For them, it's like a flashback sequence in a movie, where scenes from your life are flashing before their eyes. The day that they brought you home from the hospital, your first smile, the time you finally slept through the night. I'm still fighting that with little young ones. Your first steps, the time that you discovered that things can actually be flushed down the toilet. Your first day you were dropped off at kindergarten and your parents shed a tear. The time you threw a rock through the fill in the blank with whatever you have. For me, it was my neighbor's pool, which spouted a hole and leaked all over the yard. They weren't happy with me. My son, it just happened last month. It was the neighbor's Gorilla glass backboard. He wanted to see if a rock would actually fit in the hoop. I'm thinking he takes after his mom a little bit more than just me. I'm just kidding. The time you scored your first goal, your first day in high school, when they were more scared than you were, the day you got your license, the time your heart was broken the first time, Wednesday night before the senior prom, and all the while, your parents, your guardians, your family, they're thinking, that's my little baby. Look at her, or him, getting our high school diploma. He's off to school next year. Why do I share this with you? Well, as much as this is a celebration of your accomplishments, today is really a celebration of your family's tireless commitment to you. The sacrifices that they have made have got you to this point today. One piece of advice, at some point, not today, mind you, as that would be a little bit too easy, but at some point in the not too distant future, take the time in a quiet moment to thank them for all of the sacrifices that they have made to get you to the point where you are today. Thank you, Mom and Dad. Without your support and encouragement, I wouldn't have pursued a career in education, and I certainly wouldn't be here as the Master of Ceremonies and the principal of Chelmsford High School. Sorry. Got a little bit caught up in my own advice there for a second. I apologize. You might not quite be able to say exactly what I said, but I think you get the point. Having only worked with you for 1 year, I don't feel that I know you quite as well as I would have liked. What I do know is that you are unlike any class at which I have ever worked. When we first met back in the fall, in the PAC at your first senior class meeting, I challenged you to be the model citizens of this institution. You have far exceeded my expectations. But don't take my word for it. When I asked faculty for some more tidbits about you, here's a small sample of what they said. The respect that these students have for one another and their teachers and this school is astounding. This year's group was my biggest and brightest ever. They were highly creative, enthusiastic, and intelligent. I was so moved, in fact, that I bought 250 trees in the Amazon rainforest. They're incredibly thoughtful and kind. They are, in a word, nice. Not only are they nice to each other, but to all those they come in contact with. Another quality many of them have is a wonderful sense of humor, a true sign of intelligence. It also shows their ability to adapt to many situations. And finally, they are a group of old souls, one of my favorites, constantly bringing out the best in one another and reminding the rest of us to be kind, compassionate, empathic, and giving of ourselves. I've said it 1,000 times, and I feel like I say it every chance I get. Chelmsford High School is truly a special place, unlike any school you will ever find. The piece is, since I came back, I continue to try to better understand why it's so special. And the answer that I keep coming back to, and I've shared this with you, senior class, before, is that you guys are staring me right in the face. You're the answer. It's you. You make this place special. You make it special for your family, your friends, the faculty that are here, and all of us. We celebrate you. It brings us joy. As your principal, it would be inappropriate of me to let this, your waning moments of your high school career, pass by without two very important tidbits that I've learned through the years. First, fail. Fail big. Fail colossal. I know what you're thinking. Who is this crazy man in front of me telling me that after I leave high school, the first thing I need to do is to fail? Doesn't he know that I just want to get my diploma so I can get home to see the rest of the Red Sox game and maybe watch the start of the Bruins game? Well, yes, I do. You should have DVR'd both of those. Now notice, I didn't say fail dumb or fail silly, but what I want you to do is to fail smart. When you fail smart, it really tells me that you took a chance, you took a risk, you gave it your all. From your failure, you learned. You learned not to go down that path again and that you'll have to try another approach. Think about the first time that your parents took off your training wheels. Think about the first time that you got on ice skates, or the first time that you were on skis, or a snowboard. You failed. You fell. But you got up. You dusted yourself off. You tried again. You learned from that experience. The cycle repeats. The important piece I want you to take is that doers are, or at least they have been at some time, failures. At some point in their life, they have failed. Take the risk, learn from it, try again. Don't make the same mistake twice. Be a failure. The second one, a little bit different. Leave. Leave your room. Leave your dorm. Leave your campus. Leave your family. Leave your friends. Leave your comfort zone. Leave Chelmsford. But most importantly, leave your mark. Since this community is so special, why would anyone want to tell you to leave? Leaving allows you to experience all the new things. It allows you to take risks. It allows you to fail. It allows you to grow more than you could possibly imagine. Your parents, your family, your schools, all have made an investment in you. The only way that we can get a return on our investment is when you leave, and most importantly, come back. Better than you were before. Only then can you enrich our lives, enrich our community, and help us to continue our evolution. Class of 2013, I am so very proud of you. You are respectful, you are caring, you are inquisitive, you are graduating. Unbelievable. And most importantly, you have earned my highest respect and deepest admiration. Congratulations, class of 2013. I wish you all the best. As much as CHS is a comprehensive, you could leave it there. Remember that whole thing about respect just a minute ago? As much as CHS is a comprehensive high school that offers a quality 21st century liberal arts education, extensive co-curricular offerings, numerous student-run clubs and activities, a wonderfully supportive community comprised of dedicated parents, a strong community, and a vibrant and active alumni association, a school is ultimately judged on its ability to produce high-quality, college-ready students. As testament to this work, Chelmsford High School was named this year to Newsweek's America's Best High Schools list. The list is comprised of the top 2,000 high schools in the country based on the ability of schools to produce the highest percentage of college-ready students. The academic excellence of this class played no small part in this tremendous award. Our student speakers tonight more than exemplify this rich tradition. It is my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker, our class salutatorian, our co-president of the National Honor Society, Daniel Erdosi.
Good evening, everyone. As we take our places in this stadium, a sense of disbelief seems to pervade the air. A shock that it's finally time to leave the school that has become such an integral part of our lives. A shock that when we wake up tomorrow morning, we won't be high school seniors anymore, but alumni. Each of us likely has a different memory that encapsulates the highlights of our time at Chelmsford High. For some, it will be described most by the thrill of having been a 3-season athlete. For others, it may be described by having a career dedicated to our music department. The fact that we can name so many different experiences is a testament to the diversity of CHS. Whether we realize it or not, Chelmsford High School has come to define the past few years of our life. In the people we've met, the teachers we've had, the clubs and teams we've been parts of, and in the friends we've made. Over the last 4 years, I've had the opportunity of getting to know most of you, and I can truly say that being a member of the class of 2013 has been an honor. As a class, we've had a prolific string of accomplishments. Students sitting here today have won everything from sports tournaments to fine art awards to academic competitions. I can't count the number of times I've been genuinely impressed by many of you, whether it be in your prowess as athletes, skills as actors or actresses, or sheer determination to an extracurricular that you care deeply about. Alongside congratulating all of you on the excellence of our class, I'd also like to give the faculty sitting here today a measure of gratitude for having spent time with our class and worked with us to help us reach those victories that we are so proud of. Chances are, no matter which favorite memory you select from your time at CHS, there was some faculty member, a teacher, coach, or club advisor that helped create that moment. Those student-teacher relationships are what learning is truly about. It's not the abstract theorem, the mathematical equation that leaves a lasting impression on us. It's the faces behind the teaching. Years from now, the memory cemented in our minds won't be about that calculus problem we did, but about the calculus teacher who guided us through it. It won't be about the coach who had that tough practice on a searing September day. It'll be about the coach who guided us through the whole season. So when you're ready to leave this ceremony, prepare to head out for the uncharted territory that the next few years bring. Take a moment to thank a teacher or coach who has had an impact on who you are as an individual today. Our time at high school has helped prepare us for the long road ahead. It is ending because it is time for us to take control of our future, to take all of the assets and skills we've accumulated over the years and put them to good use. The future heralds a wealth of fresh opportunities, and it is our duty to find them and pursue them. Don't feel constrained by the name, rank, or location of the university you attend. There are numerous people who have attended lower tier colleges and have ended up more successful than graduates from top schools such as Caltech or Stanford. How? Because those who attended the state schools capitalized on the full range of opportunities they found. They were the ones who defined themselves instead of waiting for the university to define them. The college we attend may serve to guide our paths, but is ultimately up to us to convert the opportunities we are afforded into reality. Adulthood is right around the corner, and it is time to take to the task of building the foundation for a successful future. Whether we continue our careers by going to college or to work, all of us begin the next few years with a clean slate, a fresh chance to forge our own path in life. Many of us probably find ourselves poignantly reminiscing about these wonderful years at Chelmsford High, sorrowfully remembering all of the heartwarming memories we've accumulated over the past 4 years. Many of us may also be brimming with excitement at the prospect of moving on to a new chapter of our lives. No matter which category you fall into, jubilant or somber, remember that life is a continuum. It is a sequence of your actions and choices that are all interconnected to form a single product, you. With that in mind, don't be afraid of the future. The past 4 years of our lives haven't vanished. The great experiences and knowledge we've gleaned from Chelmsford High School will become incorporated into our college or work career when we choose our classes, select our majors, decide upon which extracurriculars to take part in, or which job to apply for. Now that we've successfully finished high school, it is time to keep moving forward. At the end of the day, the college that we attend or the first job we hold won't matter as much. What will truly matter will be what we received from that early experience and how we used it to open up opportunities for ourselves later in life. And through all our work, we should always remember to keep one goal perpetually in mind, remaining happy and enjoying the next few years, no matter what they bring. As British Prime Minister Winston Churchill once famously remarked, this is not the end. It is not even the beginning of the end, but it is, perhaps, the end of the beginning. Let us go out into the world to start a new chapter in our lives, to accomplish our dreams, and to proudly remember in our hearts that we are the class of 2013. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. For the presentation of the class gift, please join me in welcoming to the stage the class treasurer of the class of 2013, Craig Wallace.
Good evening, everyone. It is a pleasure to be up here presenting the gift from the class of 2013. This year, when deciding on a class gift, we chose to put an emphasis on the hard work and merits of Chelmsford student athletes. As we know, Chelmsford High School excels at all of the sports in which they compete in. We have decided to showcase their awards and accomplishments by installing a new trophy case in the main entrance of the gymnasium. Now, as people walk in, they will be able to see how successful CH sports really are. I'm extremely proud of how hard my fellow officers and classmates have worked this year to raise money for our class. This helped us create a cheap senior week that I don't think anyone will ever forget, and it made it possible for us to get such a wonderful class gift. Thank you and congratulations, class of 2013. We did it.
Thank you very much. Thank you, class of 2013, for the wonderful gift. Since this high school was built in 1974, Principal Emeritus George Simonian has always identified the most important student in the school to be the class president. Not only is the president responsible for leading the class, she or he is responsible for taking the pulse and working with school leaders to help the school continue to evolve and to create a legacy. It is no surprise, due in no small part to their contributions to this wonderful institution, that each class president's name is inscribed and memorialized on a placard in the main hall. This year's class president has far surpassed these expectations and is truly a prideful leader. Please welcome this year's class president, Daniel Pyers.
Good evening to you all. It is my privilege and honor to speak to all of you as the outgoing senior class president. Ben, Craig, Mary, and myself have worked tirelessly to provide the class of 2013 with a senior year that they would never forget. These last 4 years have been a phenomenal and transformative journey made possible because of the wonderful teachers, administration, and advisors we're fortunate to have here at Chelmsford High School. All those sleepless nights are finally paying off because today you're about to cross that finish line as your family, friends, and faculty cheer you on. Congratulations to all of you. Now, seniors, I need each and every one of you to take a look around. Look at the person next to you, behind you, and in front of you. This is the last time that we'll all be together as one class. All of us are heading off on our own adventures somewhere in the world to do great things. We've developed a legacy at Chelmsford High School and will forever be remembered. Before talking about our bright futures, though, we've got to talk about the past. Think of who you were that first day of freshman year. Think about what you were wearing, what you sounded like, and who you were with. Now, it's 4 years later. Of course, we physically changed, but we've also matured socially, emotionally, and academically. Reflecting on freshman year, I was definitely awkward. I was tiny, shy, and nervous. I had a backpack bulging with books, hundreds of sharpened pencils, and a pretty awful haircut. When the first day of high school finally arrived, I was terrified. I kept thinking of all the things that could go wrong. Like, what if I got lost looking for my classes? What if I couldn't find my friends? What if I actually believed there was a pool on the 4th floor? Like most kids, I just wanted to make a good first impression. It's something that every freshman wants to do, even though some won't admit it. Unfortunately, as a class, we struggled. At first, working together wasn't really our thing. The class of 2013 lacked that strong camaraderie that all the other classes apparently had. Many teachers stated that as freshmen, the class of 2013 was certainly a difficult one. I have to admit, we were a tough class to handle, but that was because we were still growing. We hadn't really figured it out yet. Sure, we made a lackluster debut at the freshman pep rally, and our spirit wall lacked a three-dimensional element. Who knew all this, though? Some of us took endless laps around the building and wreaked minor havoc on CHS, but we were young and immature. Okay, at times, really immature. Freshman year was a tough one for the class of 2013, but now look at us. Not so bad after all. Throughout the years, we redeemed ourselves. We buried that negative reputation and planted a new one. Just look at what we've done and what we've accomplished. Numerous athletic championships, award-winning theater productions, the creation of a phenomenal yearbook, and dominating Spirit Week, among other things. Who would have thought the class of 2013 could have hosted the best cotillion the school has ever seen, or create one of the most visually pleasing spirit walls in CHS history? It's redemption. It's never too late to change or improve who you are, whether it's high school or in the real world. If an entire class can change its reputation for the better, anything is possible. 4 years ago, I could not have predicted the impact Chelmsford High School would have had on me. CHS has given all of us, in some way, the groundwork for a successful future. It has been a haven of comfort, security, and happiness for many of us. As a freshman, presenting in front of a class honestly made me want to throw up. Fortunately, experiences and support provided to me helped transform me from a shy individual into a leader. If someone had told me 4 years ago that I would be standing on stage giving a speech at graduation, I would have laughed hysterically and said, as I often do, "I'm sorry." But that will never happen. Never say never. The fact that CHS has had such an impact on many of our lives is just one of the great things about this school and the people in it. We all have a personal story of transformation. However, the transformation did not happen without a lot of help and patience from some people here tonight. To the teachers, administrators, and staff at Chelmsford High School, we want to thank you. Thank you for never giving up on the class of 2013 and investing all the time and effort that you did. It was your teaching and guidance that has prepared us for life after high school. You have inspired us all to live up to our full potential. We are incredibly fortunate to have such an intelligent, kind, and caring faculty here at CHS. To the parents and caretakers of the class of 2013, thank you for raising and believing in us. I'm sure it was not easy, but know the sacrifices you made have paved the way for our futures. As cliche as it may sound, it does take a village to raise young men and women who demonstrate perseverance, respect, integrity, determination, and empathy. You have done just that. To Ben, Craig, Mary, Mr. Atchison, and Mr. Fall, thank you for being such great people to work with, and good luck with everything in the years to come. When asked to reflect back, a lot of people say high school is the best time of your life. I know the best is yet to come, but high school has been, in a surreal way, like living a dream. In my junior year English class, I was fortunate to have a wonderful teacher, Mrs. Cavarud, who introduced me and so many other students to The Great Gatsby, one of my favorite novels. It talks about the American dream. When comparing our high school dream to the American dream pursued in the novel, the following quote came to mind. "And so, with the sunshine and the great bursts of leaves growing on the trees, just as things grow in fast movies, I had that familiar conviction that life was beginning over again with the summer. We've realized that dream, albeit a high school dream. We've made connections. We transformed ourselves. We redeemed ourselves. We were the bosses, the class of 2013. Now we'll start anew. We'll make new friends. We'll create a new dream for ourselves. However, because of Chelmsford High School, because of the adults who believed in us and stuck with us, we developed a sense of everlasting pride. We had it all, and because of that, we bleed maroon and white. We are CHS class of 2013 and forever connected because of that. Good luck to everyone, and thank you.
Thank you, Daniel. I'd like to bring Daniel Pyers back to the podium for the presentation of the gavel to next year's class president, Mr. Matthew O'Keefe.
Could Matt O'Keefe come to the stage, please? It has been my distinct pleasure to serve as the president of the class of 2013. Unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. With pride, I pass the gavel on to Matthew O'Keefe, the elected president of the class of 2014. I am certain that he will lead his class with both dignity and integrity. Congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you, Dan. I'm truly honored to accept this gavel on behalf of the class of 2014. I couldn't be more proud to represent my class, and I know that following your example, we can't go wrong. You've all done some amazing things over the last 4 years, and the juniors have been watching carefully. From fundraising to event planning, and even just making the most of your time here, you set an incredible example. Dan, Ben, Craig, and Mary, you've each redefined what it takes to be a good class officer, and I can only hope that the class of 2014 will meet this new challenge and make our senior year just as successful. This is your moment, 2013. Every test you've taken, every lecture you've sat through, and every game you've attended has led you to this event. So enjoy it, because you've earned it. Congratulations to an amazing class. And thank you for providing such an amazing role model to the juniors and to each CHS class to come. Thank you.
Thank you, Daniel and Matthew. The Valedictorian is a position of supreme honor. As our highest achieving student, the title Valedictorian represents the student who excelled over a 4-year period in every aspect of his or her studies. It is my pleasure to introduce this year's Valedictorian and Student of the Year, Graham Lustaber.
Good evening, everyone. Let me first say that I am both humbled and honored to be given the opportunity to speak before you today. I would like to begin by giving the utmost thanks to everyone in attendance, to the teachers and faculty who pour countless hours into educating and civilizing us, despite every effort we make against this cause, to the parents who dedicate much of their lives to the noble duty of raising a child, and of course, to the class of 2013 for the lasting role you have played in my life and everyone's life here. I'm sure many of you are experiencing the same emotions that I am today, and as your peers are experiencing. This collective consciousness is a mixture of excitement, nostalgia, and hesitant uncertainty. 13 years of understanding and affection will be archived in yearbooks and replaced by an even greater thing that is college. Friends will stay in touch, but this is the final moment that we stand together as one class. You don't need a graduation speaker to tell you that you've grown so much since freshman year. Any of you can remember back to the clothes you wore, the essays you wrote, and the social groups you frequented. What's more difficult to exact is the level of compassion and care with which we conduct ourselves as young men and women. When we entered this school 4 years ago, we represented 380-odd students from every background. Our talents were raw, and our trust was yet to be found. Still, we soon realized that we were all searching for the same thing. When we stopped drawing lines between ourselves and others, we became all the better for it. As we grew from the young freshmen that followed to the seniors that now lead, we shook loose the reputations and stereotypes that dictated our minds and decisions. From this awakening, we coalesced into a class that cares for both itself and its around. For the last 4 years, it may have seemed like you've been living in a bubble that will pop once you step up here to get your diploma. In many ways, this is true, but the lessons you've learned, both academic and moral, will carry you to wherever you find yourself in life. However, you will also undoubtedly realize many other pieces of wisdom along this great voyage. That success has little tolerance for hostility, that satisfaction will overcome insecurity, that empathy will dispel failure. Because those are the capital T truths, the mantras that are repeated over and over, perhaps to the point of redundancy, but a redundancy that is necessary. Yes, it seems difficult to reach out and make that first step towards understanding, tolerance, and aid. An old Italian proverb tells us that, after the game, the king and the pawn go back in the same box. It is from the seemingly pessimistic adage that we can draw the greatest inspiration for our treatment of others. If this is as true as reality tells us, break down the barrier between the powerful and the weak, the needy and the capable, the unloved and the loving. There will come a point in every adult life when this point of maturity becomes vividly apparent. I hope that we'll all personally reflect and be able to say, I'm not as good as I could be, I'm not as good as I should be, but I'm better than I used to be. Go forth and write the next chapter in this human story for hope, compassion, and giving. To the class of 2013, I leave you with this. Good night, good luck, and Godspeed.
Thank you, Graham. The challenge for every class is to create its own legacy. In a community as rich with tradition as Chelmsford is, this is a daunting task. Please join me as I welcome this year's Vice President of the Class of 2013, Mr. Ben Martin, to unveil our newest Chelmsford High School tradition.
Earlier in the year, the class officers, the class advisors, and the administrators were discussing different ways that the class of 2013 could leave its mark at Chelmsford High School. We thought of graduation and talked about what I think is a great idea. We proposed that the students would vote on who their commencement speaker would be, with the candidates being the faculty members from Chelmsford High School. We felt that a speaker who's a face that they see every day would have more personal touch and mean a lot more to the kids here. I would like to introduce a person who I have known for many years as a teacher, a coach, and a friend. This person works harder than anyone could imagine and constantly tries and succeeds to better himself. One of his favorite adages as a coach is to remind us to always get better. Not only does he do this, but he embodies it as both a teacher and a coach. A Chelmsford High School graduate, a social studies teacher, back-to-back MVC Coach of the Year, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Michael O'Keefe.
Wow. Thank you, Dr. Tiano, Mr. Caleri, faculty, parents, members of the Chelmsford High School community, and most importantly, graduates of the class of 2013. It's an honor and a privilege to speak to you here today. When I found out that I was chosen to be this year's commencement speaker, I must admit I was not overly thrilled. In fact, I was just a little bit upset. Not because I'm not honored to share this great occasion with all of you, but because I was looking forward to hearing from one of the many talented colleagues that I work with each day. From the science department, I would have loved to hear from Mr. Sherwood or Miss Collins, two people who have dedicated their lives to educating the youth of Chelmsford. From the math department, Mr. Pasquale or Miss Gaffney could have dazzled us with their knowledge in areas far beyond the realm of math. In the English department, Mr. Cornermarsh would have had us all laughing in the aisles as he shared valuable lessons in his own unique way. In the fine arts department, Mr. Rondita and Miss Cochran would have put on another memorable performance for all of us to enjoy. In the world language department, Mrs. Queenan would have poured out her heart like she does every day. And as an added bonus, she probably would have made a fashion statement as well. In the business department, Mr. Shute, Souza, or Russo could use the real-world lessons that they share daily. Coach Devaney could have given us all one last reality check before you collected your diplomas. In my own department, Miss Sullivan, Miss Stoke, or Mr. Cole could have enlightened us with knowledge in their own passionate and colorful way. This is just a small sample of the incredible contributions made by a faculty that I'm so proud to represent here this evening. Class of 2013, let's give one last round of applause, not only to your teachers, but to your caring guidance counselors and passionate administration. So here we are. The moment is almost here. I'm all that is left between you and your well-deserved diplomas from Chelmsford High School. Between the finish line of the race you started way back at the Byam, Harrington, South Row, Center, or Westland schools. For many of you, your journey may have started in another district or town. But for each of you here this evening, that race, that one that involves the Chelmsford Public Schools, ends on this stage tonight. In my role as teacher and coach, I've been to countless graduations in my lifetime. Each time I've been to one of these great occasions, I've always felt a bit sorry for the commencement speaker. Believe me, this year especially. Why, you ask? As a student way back in 1987, I remember thinking, I hope this speaker is not going to talk for too long. I have a family gathering to get to where I'm going to be the center of attention. As a teacher for the last 20 years or so, I thought, I hope the students are paying attention, because often it's the small messages inside each story or speech get to make the biggest difference. In order to properly prepare for this tremendous occasion, I tried to solicit advice from my respected colleagues. They were all gracious and kind, but ultimately, the more advice I sought, the more confused I became. Finally, I approached the people that I learned the most from each day and asked my students for some advice. What they said was not only comforting, filled with wisdom, but simple and inspirational. They said, be yourself, do your best. That's what I'm going to try to do. Share your stories about life and how to overcome life's challenges and obstacles. Tell them about the obstacles that you faced in your own life and what you learned from them. Well, I decided to take their advice. So if you would, sit back, relax, and enjoy your last class at Chelmsford High School. Each of my classes starts with a riddle, so hopefully engage the students. So here's today's riddle. What walks on 4 legs at the beginning, 2 legs in the middle, and 3 legs at the end? It is my hope that you will figure this one out on your own as you continue your journey far beyond the comfort of Chelmsford Public Schools. I will tell you that the answer surrounds us each day. Since tonight's class is a special class, I would like to share 3 themes that I hope will help you in your race that we call life. Theme 1, don't quit, finish the race. My journey, like many of you here this evening, started in an elementary school called Byam. Back then, Byam was a school for kindergarten to the 6th grade. I learned one of life's most valuable lessons through an event called the Byam Mini Marathon. When I was in the 4th grade, Byam School started a mile-long race for all 4th, 5th, and 6th graders who wished to participate. The races were done by grade level. As luck would have it, when I was in the 4th grade, I won the race by the thinnest of margins. Now, I won't tell you who I edged, but I believe you guys call him Mr. Marshall. When I was in the 5th grade, I was fortunate enough to win the race again. When I got home from field day, I was so proud to tell my parents, and they were equally as happy to share in my good fortune. Then came the 6th grade. I was so excited about having the opportunity to be a 3-time champion of the prestigious Byam Mini Marathon. When the gun sounded to start the race, I took off as fast as I could, and as luck would have it, I was in the lead. As the race went on, my lead expanded over the field, but for some strange reason, there was another runner who forgot to get the memo that I was a 2-time defending champion and was supposed to end my career at Byam as a 3-time champ. So the two of us continued to outpace the field, but as we ran, a strange feeling came over me for the first time in my life. I started to realize that I might not have what it takes to win this race. As I ran, I felt anger towards this other runner who had the audacity to try to win this race for himself. We came to the dreaded hill with less than a quarter mile left in the race, and I was still in the lead. But as we climbed this hill together, I was passed for the first time in my young life. And I did the unthinkable. I quit. Right there on that hill, I sat in shame as the rest of the runners in the race finished. I remember feeling sorry for myself and anger towards the runner who won. When I got home, I recall telling my parents that I didn't win. I also remember my dad saying, "That's okay, son. You're not always going to win." He then asked, "What was your time?" When I told him I didn't have a time, he was confused. I told him I quit because I wasn't going to win. That was 32 years ago, and I can still see the look of disappointment on my father's face because of the decision I made to quit. I can also tell you that I have not and will not quit anything ever again. Theme 1, never quit. Even if you're not going to win, finish the race. Learn from life's setbacks and not just from life's rewards. Theme 2, small things lead to big things. I say this all the time in my classes and to my players. I strongly feel there is no greater lesson in life. Small things make all the difference. My hope is that you appreciate life for the small joys that happen every day, for the challenges that each day brings, and for the joys that ultimately follow those challenges if you show perseverance. Learn how to control the greatest force that lies within each of us, a force called attitude. I wish this was easily accomplished, for during your life, you will face real challenges. In elementary school, those challenges included learning how to share and how to take direction from people other than your parents. They also included the confusion that comes from witnessing events such as 9/11. In middle school, those challenges included questioning your parents' rules, trying to fit in with new friends not from the comfortable surroundings of elementary school, and of course, the dreaded bus rides. Finally, in high school, those challenges may have included failing a test, not making a sports team, or getting the part in a theater guild production, breaking up with a girlfriend or boyfriend, losing an important game, or God forbid, losing a loved one because of an illness or an accident. Life's challenges will continue as your journey takes you away from this town we call Chelmsford. The challenges in your near future will include: how will I make new friends? Will I get along with my new roommates? What profession should I pursue? Then they will quickly turn into: should I travel the world? Should I get married? Take that one seriously, believe me. Should I start a family? In life, expect adversity. It is part of the human challenge. In truth, it is what defines us, strengthens us, and enables us to be better men and women. My suggestion to all of you is to be thankful for the small things life has to offer. Be thankful that you don't already have everything you desire. If you did, what would there be to look forward to? Be thankful when you don't know something, for it gives you the opportunity to learn. Be thankful for your limitations, because they give you the opportunities for improvement. Be thankful for your mistakes. They will no doubt teach you valuable lessons. Be thankful for your parents and grandparents. They are your biggest supporters. Be thankful that you went to Chelmsford High School. It means you join an army of people whose success has literally helped millions. It's easy to be thankful for the good things. A life of fulfillment comes to those who are also thankful for the setbacks. Gratitude can turn a negative into a positive. Find a way to be thankful for your troubles, and they can become your blessings. My last story is a difficult one for me to share. I'm going to let you all in on a little secret. I never really wanted to be a teacher. I always wanted to be a coach. When I was in high school, two of the most influential people in my life were my basketball coach, Coach Gallagher, and my baseball coach, Coach Schoenfeld. These two men, along with my parents, taught me some of life's most important lessons. It is these lessons that I now try to bring to life, both in my classroom and on the playing fields. The theme of my last story is things work out best for those who make the best of the way things work out. When I was a sophomore in college, I was fortunate enough to reach a level of success in the sport of baseball that allowed me to compete against some of the nation's top baseball prospects in the premier Cape Cod Baseball League. This league was, and still is, considered to be a breeding ground for future major leaguers. It was quite a thrill to be in a league that featured a $1 million draft pick, and it was quite an honor to be asked back for the following year. It was at that time that I started to realize that my boyhood dream that started on the 110 fields in Chelmsford of becoming a professional baseball player no longer seemed out of reach. My junior year came, and the buzz with my coaches and teammates was that there was a good chance that I would be drafted by a major league team at the end of the year. I could still vividly remember sitting with a professional scout and having him ask me, how much money would it take for me to forego my senior year of college to play professionally? I remember having a conversation with my parents about the prospect of leaving school. At that time, they gave me advice that I often give my students and players today. They said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. It was my parents' subtle way of telling me perhaps I should focus more on school and not just on becoming a Major League Baseball player. My father used a baseball analogy to make his point. He said, Michael, I think you should continue to work hard toward achieving your dream, but I think you should cover all your bases and make sure you continue to get an excellent education. In other words, my father wanted me to finish the race. Wouldn't you know it? Even though my team and I had a fantastic season, the draft came and went without a single call from a major league team following my junior year. So I continued to work hard, both athletically, but more importantly, academically. It was at this point, the start of my senior year, when I started thinking about the prospect of becoming a teacher and a coach if this baseball thing didn't work out. I take you now to my senior year of college during our team's southern trip to Florida to play baseball. I remember the day as if it were yesterday. The year was 1991. The team had just finished a practice session after a game, and I was approached by 6 major league scouts all at the same time. Their message was simple but exciting. They said, as long as you stay healthy, one of us is going to draft you at the end of the year. Needless to say, I was thrilled. My dream of actually getting the opportunity to play a game for a living was about to come true. My teammates and I all went out for something to eat that evening to celebrate the good news. About 5 hours later, we all were in a horrible accident. Of the 6 people jammed into the car, there were a number of minor injuries and 2 serious injuries. My teammates suffered wrenched backs, severely bruised ribs, and concussions, while I suffered a broken collarbone, stitches, and most importantly, a shattered dream. I remember looking up at my parents in the hospital and crying, not because of the pain, but because of the emotional loss I was feeling at the time. I remember saying to my father, who had spent countless hours coaching me, playing catch with me, and driving me around for years to a variety of baseball venues, that I blew it. He comforted me by reminding me that fortunately, I did not have all my eggs in one basket. I was still in position to graduate, and that I still had plenty of opportunities ahead of me. This might seem strange to say, but I honestly believe that getting in that car accident might have been the best thing that ever happened to me. It allowed me to focus on trying to become the best teacher, coach, and father I possibly can. It has given me the opportunity to work with generations of young people who continue to amaze me on a daily basis. It has given me a greater appreciation for the little things in life we sometimes fail to realize. It has allowed me to come to work each day with an excitement level that comes from knowing that what we do does make a difference. All of you here this evening have already made a great difference in the lives of so many. And that is why we are all here, to celebrate your amazing accomplishment. The exciting thing is, you are the authors, and you will decide how the story unfolds. I would like to end your last class here at Chelmsford High School with a poem by D. Groberg. It is a poem that ties together the lessons learned throughout life. This poem is about each one of the graduates here tonight. The poem is entitled The Race. They all lined up, so full of hope, each thought to win the race, or tie for first, or if not that, at least take second place. And fathers watched from off the side, each cheering for his son, and each boy hoped to show his dad that he would be the one. The whistle blew, and off they went, young hearts and hopes afire. To win, to be the hero there, was each young boy's desire. And one boy in particular, whose dad was in the crowd, was running in the lead and thought, my dad will be so proud. But as they sped down the field across a shallow dip, the little boy who thought to win lost his step and slipped. Trying hard to catch himself, his hand flew out in brace. Amid the laughter of the crowd, he fell flat on his face. So down he fell, and with him hope, he couldn't win, not now. Embarrassed, sad, he only wished to disappear somehow. But as he fell, his dad stood up and showed his anxious face, which to the boy so clearly said, get up and win the race. He quickly rose, no damage done, behind a bit, that's all. He ran with all his might and mind to make up for his fall. So anxious to restore himself, to catch up, to win, his mind went faster than his legs. He slipped and fell again. He wished then he had quit before, with only one disgrace. I'm hopeless as a runner now. I shouldn't try to race. But in the laughing crowd he searched and found his father's face, that steady look that said again, get up and win the race. So up he jumped to try again, 10 yards behind the last. If I'm going to gain those yards, I've got to move real fast. Exerting everything he had, he regained 8 or 10. But trying so hard to catch the lead, he slipped and fell again. Defeat, he lay there silently, a tear dropped from his eye. There's no sense in running anymore. 3 strikes, I'm out, why try? The will to rise had disappeared, all hope had fled away. So far behind, so error-prone, I'll never go all the way. I've lost, so what's the use, he thought? I'll live with my disgrace. But then he thought about his dad, who'd soon he'd have to face. Get up, an echo sounded low. Get up and take your place. You were not meant for failure here. Get up and win the race. With borrowed will, get up, it said. You haven't lost at all. For winning is no more than this, to rise each time you fall. So up he rose to run once more, and with a new commit, he resolved that win or lose the race, at least he wouldn't quit. 3 times he'd fallen stumbling, 3 times he rose again. Now he gave it all he had and ran as though to win. They cheered the winning runner as he crossed the line first place, head high and proud and happy. No failing, no falling, no disgrace. But when the falling youngster crossed the line last place, the crowd gave him the greater cheer for finishing the race. And even though he came in last, with head bowed low, unproud, you would have thought he won the race, to listen to the crowd. And to his dad, he sadly said, "I didn't do so well." "To me you won," his father said. "You rose each time you fell." And now when things seem dark and hard and difficult to face, the memory of that little boy helps me in my race. For all life is like that race with ups and downs and all you have to do to win is rise each time you fall. I'm confident that as the exciting challenges of life continue to come your way, all of you will be able to face your own adversities and overcome them. Remember, don't quit. Small things lead to big things, and things work out best for those who make the best of the way things work out. And oh yeah, always, and I mean always, finish the race. Thank you. Congratulations, Chelmsford High School, class of 2013.
Thank you, Mr. O'Keefe, for your inspiring words. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor at this time to present to the Chelmsford School Committee and the Superintendent of Schools the graduates of the class of 2013 for the conferring of their diplomas. As principal of Chelmsford High School, I have certified that the students before you have satisfied all graduation requirements and competencies as articulated by the Chelmsford Public Schools and the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
The graduates of Emerson House: Catherine Mary Anasopoulos, Helen Claire Lawless Andrus, Nicholas Lesia Arena, Stephanie Marie Arnall, Kriti Badola, Brianna Nicole Baloy, Kelsey Lynn Barrett, James Edward Barry III, Marwa Ben Khalifa, Anthony Bachelor Bernazani, Thomas Edward Bishop, Sarah Michelle Brown, Kaylee Elizabeth Bumpus, Tyler Marston Carmoli, Timothy Francis Castles, Spencer G1 Chung, Lauren Elizabeth Ciccarelli, Adam Charles Savinskis, Laura Mary Coffey. Kristen Marie Cormier. Rachel Elizabeth Couto. Benjamin Grant Crosby. Andrew Joseph Cucciara. Casey Marie Curran. Adam Douglas Daniels. Andrew Martin Dawson. Brooke Dorothy DeVincent. Sarah Elizabeth Duffett. Riley Joseph Dugan. Jillian Grace Emerson. Jonathan Hubers Fairbanks. Casey Joseph Ferreira. Caitlin Marie Finn. Lydia Grace Fletcher. Jennifer Lauren Francisco. Michael Ryan Gallant. Alexis Andrea Gallo. Gregory Lee Gardner III. Nicole Paula Gerasi. Jacob Whittier Glovin. Kaylee Alexa Gorski. Stephen Samuel Goulet. Dean Emerson Gray. Brienne Elizabeth Gump. Erin Elizabeth Hamilton. Casey Elizabeth Harkin. Timothy Joseph Havener. Abigail Julie Hickey. Katie Marie Higgins. Tom Quang Huang. Brett Alexander Hooten. Amruta Shrikant Hoser. Michelle Candice Janiak. Gregory Arthur Johnson. Leah Marie Jolin. Ina Vladimirovna Kim. Alora Lee Kingston. Emily Lawler Krauk. William David Kubik. Joseph Eli Lafreniere. Patrick William Landrigan. Zachary Lattimore. Stephanie Feltrin Leahy. Laura Marie Looper. Ann Lynn. Erica Andrea Lundeen. Rachel Victoria Medanjan. Emily Frances Majeski. Zachary Dennis Mandela. Joseph Pierce Maniscalco. Ken Christophe Manu. Rebecca Kayla Margette. Jessica Ann Martell. Vadim Mayorsky. Maddie Ann McAdams. Alicia Ann McCartan. Alexander Thomas McCormick. Megan Lynn McDonough. Elizabeth Rose McElhenney. Alec Christopher McHugh. Stephen Larson McLeod. Jacob Matthew McNamara. Renasia Amani Mitchell. Emily Ann Moreau. Anna Lynn Murphy. Rourke Thomas Myers. Elizabeth Louise Navoychek. Daniel Alexander Nolan. Paul Richard O'Brien. Brittany Ann Oliver. Bharadwaja Venkata Parakala. Kimberly Gale Piper. Jennifer Ann Pizarek. Joseph Alexander Pofcher. Timothy Patrick Potter. Allison Ruth Prisbilowitz. Brianna Michelle Raymond. Kayla Marion Regan. Sean Joseph Regan. Amy Ray Roberts. Megan Nicole Robertson. Emily Rebecca Roller. Kimberly Sue Marie Rossman. Christina Marie Rubico. Maria Victoria Russo. Eliana Marin Reichen. Ekta Yash Shah. Nabid Ali Sheikh. Thomas William Shaughnessy. Nicholas Brian Shaw. Dana Lawrence Shea. Lindsay Jean Silva. Shannon Dorothy Skinner. Dominic Everett Sorrentino. Isabella Rosalie Sorrentino. Nicholas Anthony Sorrentino III. Brandon Gregory Spring. Brianna Elaine Stuzinski. Robert Francis Sullivan. Emily Margaret Tierney. Paul John Turchinitz. Allison Elizabeth Turner. Eric Charles Van Gelder. Wanjiru Wa Wainaina. Erin Elizabeth Walsh. Nicole Elizabeth Wetherill. Bryce Matthew Wynn. Ravi Yelamanchili. Troy Christopher Zaire. Cindy Zhao. Emmeline Liu Zhu. The graduates of Hawthorne House. Bradley William Alber. Camden Walter Armstrong. Patrick Miles Armstrong. Tyler James Armstrong. Matthew Raymond Arsenault. Jacob Christopher Ashley. Megan Marie Balich. Connor Joseph Barry. Kelsey Jane Beaton. Anthony Raphael Bertolacini. Rebecca Ann Boshar. Melanie Joy Boudreau. Mitchell Jean Bro. Connor William Brimley. Kate Elizabeth Carbonaire. Laura Elizabeth Carlson. Linda Ann Carpenter. Brenna Elise Chase. Joseph Chen. Colin Mackenzie Cleary. John Wilfred Coder. Austin Charles Collius. Douglas Andrew Consalvi. John Francis Corbett Jr. Colton Austin Crawford. Caroline Mary Curtis. Matthew Stephen Curtis. Gwen Claire DeFilippo. Rebecca Lynn DeMeo. Miranda Lynn Derry. Frank Anthony DeSilvio. Benjamin Ping Dudon. Allison Elizabeth DeWitt. Brooke Ashley DeYoung. Bridget Patricia Doherty. Cameron Fahey Engdahl. Daniel Peter Erdosi. Cody Oliver Erickson. Kevin Michael Falco. Emily Catherine Friziello. Erin Eileen Garrity. Nicholas Ryan Jeffroy. Samantha Claire Jarvis. Benjamin Peter Gilman. Connor James Griffin. Brianna Lynn Hadley. Alexandra Whitman Hamilton. Laura Jill Hansen. Gopi J. Hanslia. Patrick James Healy. Benjamin David Hillman. Natalita Mali Him. Kaylee Elizabeth Hoffman. Drew Foley Holbrook. Sandra Yasser Ibrahim. Catherine Suzanne Imperillo. Pooja Javeri. Samuel Spencer Jordan. Christopher George Judge. Jake Stephen Kelly. Devin Alexander Keppel Brown. Andrew Joseph Knightley. Rachel Eileen Kirkon. Kristen Marie LaHaze. Alexa Morgan Lambros. Jessica Rose Landress. Carmen Garmen Lee. Marianne Lokren. Erin Nell Lucy. Graham Daniel Lustaber. Cian Ma. Rachel Marie Maloney. Julia Mitchell McBride. Bailey Rose McKelvey. Joseph Stephen McLaughlin. Allison Nicole McNeil. Elena Faye Melanson. Benjamin Jeffrey Malisi. Robert George Metivier. Maria Mahmoud Mir. Arnav Mithal. Nabil Nissar. Derek James Noble. Samuel Justin North. Brianna Nicole O'Boyle. Jeremy Robert O'Donnell. Stephen George Patterson. David Langton Pearson. Madison Gabriella Piccarilli. Anna Maria Piccarillo. Julie Monique Poulain. Sean Joseph Quigley. Brooke Marjorie Quinney. Matthew Terrence Rabito. Allison Mary Reese. Cassidy Jessica Rhine. Richard Michael Rosell. Charlotte Francis Gale St. Germain. Sean Henry Soralt. Stephen Arthur Soralt. Jackson Charles Scrivani. Timothy Clayton Shea. Rosanna Sin. Kyle Henry Smith. Cheyenne Alexander Sobian. Nicholas John Solomonidis. Alyssa Ray Susi. Mark Edward Souza. Benjamin Henry Sperry. Anna Marie Suslowitz. Anna Elisa Swenson. Kirby Toussaint. Quinn Tran. Stephanie Tran. Abhishek Tripathi. Nicholas John Vogler. Catherine Marie Boyes. Timothy Kevin Wallace. Amanda Nicole Weideman. Kylie Catherine Whalen. Zachary David Whitney. Alexandra Nicole Wild. Eric Matthew Williams. Kaylee Sandra Yuan. The graduates of Whittier House. Corina Adrian Alderuccio. Kelly Elizabeth Anderson. Nicholas Francis Arndt. Emmanuel Awaranti. Kendra Pauline Baltier. Jeffrey Lionel Baptiste. Abdul Rahman Omar Basabrain. Amanda Mary Beacott. Alexander Day Bottomley. Jeffrey Michael Breton. Cameron Patrick Burns. Zachary John Cahill. Nicholas Patrick Kane. Catherine Allison Case. Brian Michael Carey. Emily Rose Carey. Connor Edward Carson. Cameron Davis Cartaglia. Kelly Grace Chamberlain. Walker James Champeau. Amanda Lucy Chang. Annie Chow. Amy Chow. Taylor Laureate Cohen. Ashley Marie Conklin. Paige Violet Conti. Lena Sophia Coral. Kaylin Ray Cross. Veronica Marie Cuccinata. Sarah Jean Daly. Alexander John DeCoste. Allison Marie DeGloria. Elise Marie DeRozier. Lauren Marie DeForte. Derek Julian Dodge. Austin Charles Drake. Brendan James Duffy. Ethan Sullivan Eckhoff. Andrea Marie Ellis. Alexander Nicholas Fee. Lauren Marie Fitzgibbons. Shannon Kara Flynn. Robert Joao Jayada. Kevin Robert Good. Melanie Ann Grant. William Albert Grant. Abigail Hope Gregoire. Albert Joseph Grillo. Casey Cameron Davis Hamill. Nina Nicole Harris. Connor Teague Hurley. Shannon Quinn Kelly. Jacob Robert Kelsey. Jenya Hudko. Jason Vincent LaRiviere. Justin Tyler Latour. Benjamin John LeBlanc. Chanel Marie London. Julia Lee Mann. Sorab Suas Marate. Alexander Connor Marchand. Hannah Lee Marden. Anthony Joseph Marino III. Christopher Robert Marino. Sabrina Eileen Martin. Sarah Ray Martine. Daniel Scott Materna. Derek Andrew McCann. Ryan James McGuigan. Derek Michael McLaughlin. Colin Derek McLeod. Jordan Patrick McMahon. Kira Dylan McNamara. Scott Matthew McQuaid. Cody Andreas Merrill. Gregory Eugene Milner. Shreya Mohan. Madeline Rose Monahan. Victoria Lynn Moore. William Colley Moore. Sean Michael Moran. Faith Dorothy Moy. Jocelyn Susan O'Connor. Leslie Renee O'Hagan. Ryan Christopher Olney. Samir Omar. Alex Aaron Peroyan. Nicole Elizabeth Peruzzi. Jill Alexis Powers. Abigail Jane Qualters. Amanda Lynn Ritson. Michael George Rosa. Morgan Kendall Roth. Nikita Santana Krishnan. Syed Ibrahim Shah. Hannah Emily Sheehan. Kelsey Elizabeth Sheehan. Zachary Joseph Scherer. Jocelyn Paige Shields. Lauren Rachel Silverman. Courtney Elizabeth Simard. Pink Siavong. Shelby Bowen Small. Bernard Chon Sao. Joseph Vincent St. Hilaire. J. Mary Stanway. Zachary Scott Strafer. Evan Michael Sullivan. Matthew Sweeney. Nicholas John Taddeo. Benjamin Martin Thomas. Richard Thomas Nolte. Amanda Marie Ehrman. Alexander Armin Vahid. Annie Katerina Valaire. John Thomas Walsh. Michael Zuan Wang. Zachary Thomas Warnick. Todd Nicholas Wilson. Kristen Elizabeth Young. The class officers: Mary Teresa Koseski. Craig Stephen Wallace. Benjamin Patrick Martin. Daniel Flemings Pyrus.
Graduates, please rise. Please grasp your tassel and move it from the right side of your mortarboard to the left. Congratulations, class of 2013. We made it.
So congratulations. Now what are you going to do?